演讲从头到尾都会是英文进行，因为我们现场也有。如果你需要中文翻译的话呢，可以请你自备耳机。然后呢，我们的JC 杨教授会在 Me Too TV 的社团里面呢，以中文方式直播。所以在 Me Too TV 的社团里面，你会同时看到2个直播，一个是英文的现场直播，然后另外一个是中文的直播，可以吗？所以你可以选择你喜欢的频道，或者是分享给你的伙伴。OK。如果大家没有问题的话呢，我就要正式开始，就是介绍进入今天的主题，好吗？好，我要转换频道了，好紧张。Okay, good evening everyone. My name is Sui. I've been with New Skin for more than 10 years, and I'm now a team lead and $1 million circle member. I'm very excited today because we have a very special guest coming all the way from the US to share with us his story and his journey at Nu Skin. Chou is a team lead and has been with Nu Skin for almost 30 years. Wow. He carries on the incredible legacy of his late mother, Betty Song. She was a 80+ million earner and 27-year team lead and one of the most influential leaders in the Nu Skin history. Yes. Before Nu Skin, he was an NCAA Division I collegiate women's assistant volleyball coach. He has a degree in exercise philosophy with a psychology emphasis and also a master in business administration. So let me borrow your hands and give a big applause to our speaker, Chou.
There we go. All right. Well, thank you all for coming out for the meeting. And I just want to share with you my journey with Nu Skin because it's kind of unique. My history with the business, and especially with my mom, is a very different journey within the Nu Skin world. So I've been in Nu Skin, around Nu Skin for about 30 years, but I didn't really do the Nu Skin business until about 10 years ago. And the reason is because for me, I didn't understand the business truly, right? For me, I saw it in a different way. My mom, from the very beginning, she understood the business very, very clearly. So for her, I'll talk about kind of 2 different paths that we took. When she joined the business, I was just about to go to college. And so we kind of took 2 different roads, right? So, I did what the traditional methodology was. I went to school, got a job, went to work, and so on and so forth, right? And my mom started building the Nu Skin business and moved over to Asia because that's where it was growing the fastest. And afterwards, I noticed something because she would always call me and say, "Hey, I'm going to go travel. Would you like to come with me?" And I noticed that I can't, I'm working, right? "Oh, hey, I want to come visit. Can I come visit you?" "I'm busy, I'm working," right? So this happened a lot. But then in the end, right, I got to the point where at my job, I was originally very happy, women's college, volleyball coach, very excited, a great job. But then, as with most jobs, if you're there long enough, things start to get kind of old. And I was starting to realize my future wasn't how I envisioned it. right? Because I didn't have weekends. I was working a lot of hours. I wasn't able to spend time, back then I was married, and in 2009 I had a daughter. And what changed was in the month of July during that year, I spent 3 hours with my daughter all month. That was my off season, right? That was supposedly when I was able to spend time with her. So then, 2 weeks after that is when our season started, our preseason. So I was like, okay, this has got to change. And so I made the decision. Okay, I've watched Nu Skin from a distance, and my mom was always hoping that I would join the business. Right? It only took 21 years, but I finally decided to really actually do the business with her. And so I quit my job and said, all right, I want to do the business. And so I did the business. One of my friends, Jack, joined me, and we were terrible. We sucked at the business, right? We didn't know what we're doing. We're doing this, doing that. We probably talked to like 200 people. No one was interested, but we stayed with it. And then, my mom's like, all right, would you like some suggestions? Would you like my help? I'm like, of course. Right? And so from that point on, then we started working together. And so I did everything I could to learn as much as I could from my mom's experience, from her wisdom, and how she understood the business because of how successful she was, right? Because she had a unique perspective on the business, right? So we started working on it. But then I kid people that. So I have an MBA, right, Master's in Business Administration. I had to go to school, spend a lot of time, a lot of money to get that. And my mom has an MBA too, right? But hers is a massive bank account. Hers is better, right? So there's two different paths. And the biggest thing is that she had time, and she had money, and she had freedom, right? And I noticed that most people didn't have those things. So I wanted to say, all right, how do we do this? How does this work? What's the point of the business? So, this, I just want to show you a little bit of my life. And if you follow me on Facebook or Instagram, you see some of this, you see a lot of this. So this was my mom and I at convention. This was 3 years ago. And this was a really cool experience, right? This was, I think, 26 years at that point of Team Elite. And so, I was spent a lot of time with my mom, and the biggest thing for me that impacted me was the amount of people that she impacted, right? All the people here, all the people, in China, everyone that she's had a connection with, that she's, that you've maybe heard her speak or you've met her in person. That was the impact that really drove me to do Nu Skin. And then Nu Skin and my mom allowed me to meet my incredible girlfriend, Olga. And, this is the funny thing about life, right? Things happen you never expect, right? You have this idea of, hey, this is how my life is going to be, but you never really expect what's going to happen. I never expected to meet a Colombian girlfriend, not in a million years, right? I don't speak Spanish. I learned French in high school, which is completely useless, by the way, right? I should have learned Spanish, but I didn't. But she's in my life because of Nu Skin, and really because of my mom, right? So that was in Hawaii. And so, this was Grand Canyon. And, I like to do fun things. I love photography, I love travel. The fun part about this is on the other side of this rock is the Grand Canyon. So if I don't land, then it's like 2,000 feet down. Yeah. Yeah. Olga was a little nervous during this picture. And this is us during convention last year. And this is my mom when she earned her Team Elite Platinum. This was, I think, 4 years ago, right? And so, I have this pin that I wear, and it's my mom's. And the interesting thing about this is that she never actually wore it, right? For her, it was not a big thing. She really didn't care about, the the pins or the titles or whatever. That wasn't the important part to her. So I actually found this in her desk, and it was in little bits and pieces, and she had it put together. So I decided I wanted it put together, and the reason I wear it is because I'm carrying on her legacy, right? I want people to understand and remember what she's done, and so that's why I'm doing this business still, right? And then this is us in Hawaii, and then this is us with Blake Roney, one of the founders. And then this is one of the most favorite things in the world. This was in Rome. This is a Team Elite trip, 2 Team Elite trips ago in Rome. And we loved, okay, so I started drinking coffee in college, because I hated coffee, when I started working. And then afterwards, my mom, she loves coffee, so we started drinking coffee together. And for a while, I actually tried to quit drinking coffee. But then every morning, my mom would say, hey, can you come over? We'll drink some coffee. We'll spend some time together. I could never quit coffee, because to me, drinking coffee was like a special time, right? And so when we were in Rome, we stopped at like every coffee shop, and it was amazing, right? So this is like one of my favorite pictures of being with her and spending time with her. All right, these are my kids. Gabrielle and Brandon, he's 5, she's 8. She's actually now almost as tall as me, which is really not that hard. But right, this was our success trip in Iceland. Again, I like to do jumping pictures and having fun. And this was us working in Mallorca, off the coast of Spain, right before the Barcelona Team Elite trip. And really just wanted, and this was us in Norway with the Team Elite trip, right? And you probably recognize some of these people. Is that here? It isn't either Taiwan or Hong Kong or somebody. Hong Kong, right? Yeah. Okay, yeah. So lots of people here, and my mom's, where did she go? I can't find her. There's too many people. I found Franny though. Franny's right here. Yes. Right, and they're scary. Wow. But this is Half Dome, and same thing. There's another 3,000-foot drop there. But really, what I want to highlight is that with this business, I don't have an office. The world is my office, right? No matter where I am. That's the beauty of technology. The beauty of this business is that we can run our businesses now through technology, through our cell phones, right, or our laptops. And this creates a lot of freedom for us, right? And that's a really cool thing, because the question I want people to ask themselves is your life amazing? Do you have an amazing life, right? Really, think about that. Or is your life just fine, right? Most people I know, their life is just fine. It's okay, right? It's average. But is that really what you want, right? What do you want in life? What kind of life do you want, right? And so these are all questions I ask people is, because I want people to understand that you have one life, you're on this planet for a certain amount of time. You don't know how long, right? Are you just working day after day after day, and are you just getting by? Are you surviving, right? Are you existing, right? Is that all you're doing? Or are you actually living? Does that make sense? Right? Because a lot of people, they just get through life. They don't actually enjoy life. They don't really have a life. And so here's a really good quote that I found. Life is meant to be experienced. Do things you've never done. Live a life where at the end you'll have no regrets, right? I love this quote because this really represented my mom, right? My mom passed away just over 1.5 years ago from lung cancer, right? And I was able to be there for her for every day for 6 months, right? And in the end, she said something that was very impactful for me, because for most people, they're afraid of death, right? They're afraid of dying. And she told me, I'm not afraid of dying because I've had an amazing life. I have no regrets, right? That's a very powerful thing, right? When you're at the end, don't you want to be able to feel like, hey, I've accomplished everything I wanted to accomplish, or I've had an amazing life, instead of, oh man, I wish I had more time. I wish I did this. I wish I did that. Right? That's a terrible feeling. Regrets is the worst thing you can have. So I want to show you a couple things that most people understand, right? This is a couple different lifestyles that we're told, we're taught, right? Our traditional lifestyle is pretty simple. You go to school, you get educated, acquire skills, right? Then you work. Then you enjoy life for a little bit after you retire. And this actually is not necessarily accurate now, because a lot of people I know are working past the retirement age, right? And then you die, right? But what happens if you're still working and then you die? Well, that kind of sucks, because you weren't able to enjoy life, right? Well, there's another option, right, through New Skin, which is what we've been showing people, is same thing, you educate yourself, you work hard, you work smarter, right, through New Skin, and then you enjoy life for longer, right? That's a pretty good option, right? Would you take 2 or would you take 1, right? Probably 2. Okay. But what if I could tell? What if I told you that there's actually a third option? So you still, educate yourself somehow, somewhere, maybe in school, maybe on the internet, I don't know. Then you work hard and you work smart at the same time, right? When you're younger, right? Why wait until you're 40, right? For most of you guys, that's like, oh man, that's a long time from now. I don't want to work until I'm 40, right? Start younger, right? Start when you're 20. I mean, some people maybe 18, I don't know. But here's the thing, is that what happens if you could do that and enjoy life at the same time, right? Because with this business, that's what I see. I see a lot of young people in their 20s that are already doing extremely well, that are able to spend time with their families, travel the world, have a great time while they're building a business at the same time. That's incredible, because that's an option most people don't have, right? So that's what I want to share with people is, you pick whatever lifestyle you want, whichever one you want is good, right? But how are we able to do this? How are we able to create this different lifestyle, this lifestyle number 3, right? Sort of macroeconomic trends, right? So demographics, the gig economy, and social sharing, right? Technology is changing our world profoundly in ways that we never envisioned, right? Work, how we see work is changing too. And your traditional, thought process of I'm going to work until I'm 65, now it's different, right? You don't work for one company. Now, you work maybe 7 years and you switch companies. But now everyone's doing side gigs, side hustles, jobs here. They're independent contractors, right? They don't work for one person. This is happening globally, more and more, right? Every part of the world, people are starting to do this because, number one, employers, right, the companies, they're not as loyal, right? You're expendable, right? They use you for whatever they need, and then they get rid of you because they can find someone who will work for cheaper, right? I've had many friends that they replaced the one person with 2 for half the price, right? So if you have a family and you're relying on that income and you get, released or fired or whatever, how does that impact your life, right? So gigs are starting to happen, and we're seeing this in, Uber, Amazon, Airbnb. People are starting to become their own bosses, right? Which is great. It gives people more flexibility, but each one has its own problems, right? Hey, if you're an Uber driver, that's great. You can set your own hours, you can, do things when you want to, but you only make money if you're driving.
Yes.
Right? You stop driving, you don't make a lot of money. You have to use your own car, right? If the car breaks down, you pay for it, right? Airbnb, same thing. You have to actually have a property first, right, in order to rent it. So that takes money. So there's all these different little problems that people don't necessarily understand. It's better than the alternative, right, of working a traditional job, but it's still not perfect. So this is where we come in, right? This is where Newskin comes in. This is why I love this business. It's because for most people, they go, I want to start my own business. Well, what do you want to do? I don't know, right? Do you have some sort of invention? Do you have some great idea? No, right? Or maybe you do. Maybe you do have a product that you want to develop. Okay, how much money do you have to develop it, right? To bring a product to market, millions of dollars potentially, right? And then if you don't have the money, then you have to, do crowdfunding. Maybe that works. Or you have to find an investor, right? If an investor comes in, then they own part of your business, right? So, but what happens if you have someone that can create the products for you, they can distribute the products for you, they can do the research and development on it, they can provide all the accounting, all the back end. All you have to do is just share the business, right? They've been around, they're publicly traded, which is very critical, right? Which means that we can't say anything without the government looking and verifying what we say. We can't lie, right? Which is very, very important, because if you're going to do a business, then you need to know that your business partner is trustworthy, right? They're reputable. And the fact that, it's a $2.5 billion company is even better, because it shows that, hey, there's a market. They're successful and they're growing, right? They're not just some little small company, they're a big company. So, and we've won many awards for it. But more importantly is we're in an industry, in a market that we can all participate in, right? Because everyone is, in some way, shape, or form, interested in health and wellness, right? Beauty and wellness. Everyone likes to look good, everyone likes to feel good, right? So this is a huge industry, $1.7 trillion. That's a lot of money, right? We're not greedy, we can just have part of it, right? So it's a great market to be in, because number one, especially wellness is critical, because there's been a lot of reports talking about, okay, if you're going to invest in something, what should you invest in, right? Not just business, but what do you want to invest in? Number one, what you should invest in is your health. That's the most important thing you can invest in, your health, and then your knowledge. Right? That's exactly kind of what we're playing. Okay, so Newskin's goal is to become the world's world's best business opportunity platform, right? In the sense that they give everyone an opportunity to become their own private or independent business, right? And so this is a huge deal, because Newskin isn't just a business, it's a platform, right? It gives you the ability, it's a tool for you to achieve what you want to achieve, right? They're not limiting you, they're not telling you, you have to do this or you're fired, right? You build a business to whatever size you want. If you just want to make a little bit of money, you can do that. If you want to change your income, you can do that. If you want to impact a lot of people's lives, you can do that too, right? And the way we're doing this is through platforms, products, and programs, right? The platform using online, using web-based, obviously person to person, but mostly now we're transitioning to social. It's kind of your engine. If your products are terrible, your business doesn't last. If your products are the same as everybody else, no one cares, right? So you have to be different and you have to be good. And if you're great, even better. And then programs. And this is where I think Newskin is kind of ahead of the game, because they understand the reason for people being successful in the business is because they recognize success, right? In traditional jobs, right, if you do something great, how do they reward you? Well, we'll give you a little bit of a bonus, maybe we'll give you a mug, right? I have a friend that worked for a technology company. He created or invented something that is now creating or generating over $1 billion a year in revenue for that company. What did they give him to thank him? a coffee cup.
Oh, really?
Thank you for your contribution. Here's a coffee cup. But we're making $1 billion a year off of what you did. Thank you. What kind of thanks is that, right? New Skin is amazing because they reward you. You hit a certain level, there's success trips, right? Because they want to show their gratitude, their appreciation for the effort that you put in. This company understands win-win, yes. Right? They understand that the more they take care of you, the harder you're going to work, right? Not just for them, but for you as well, right? Because it makes you feel good. And then, behind the products, it's not just, it's easy for us to say, hey, our products are really good, it's going to make you look younger and all these different things, but can you back it up, right? Because now everyone, they can search the internet. It's very easy, right? You can't hide any information. So it's important to make sure that the products that you give the consumer, they work, they're safe, right? And they're differentiated, they're different than what's out there. So, we have products for everybody, right? If you're human, if you're alive, then we have products for you, right? Whether it's your skin, whether it's your body. Oh, so by the way, does everyone know recognize this person? You've never seen him, right? Okay, so he's not really big in Asia, but in North America, he's actually pretty well known, and he was actually my first distributor.
Wow.
Yeah, so his name's Jack, and his nickname is Six Pack Jack, right? He has a six-pack. But there's a story behind this name, is that when they were choosing the winner for the TR90 contest, right, his name kept coming up. But in corporate, over at New Skin, one of our account managers, right, his name is Jack too. And so they would always get him confused, right? And so they would say, okay, well, Six-Pack Jack, and the other one was called One-Pack Jack. Yeah, he didn't like that one so much. So that's how he got it. So we have products for your skin, your body, as well as health. So this is the S3 scanner. So if you're not familiar with it, it basically measures your antioxidant scores, non-invasively for your skin, which is actually very important because the only other way to be this accurate is for them to cut a 2-inch by 2-inch piece of skin from you. That one's a little more painful. So this is very effective. And so what we're trying to show you is that, we're not just a one-product company, right? There's a lot of companies that's all they have, is 1 or 2 products, right? And maybe they're not even that great. But everything that we have, and this is only a few of our, I think globally we have like 250 products, right? Every market's a little bit different. But these are some of our biggest products currently, right? The LumiSpa is absolutely amazing. It's won a ton of awards, right? Then we have our TR90 program, which is amazing results. And then the raw marula oil. Has anyone tried this before? This stuff's amazing, right? It's absolutely, I love that stuff. Right, and then Life Pack, and then Age Lock Me, right? The first and only customizable skincare device in the world, right? And then the facial spa, which has been huge globally. I think we've done 9 or 10 million units of those. Power Lips are great because when you get kissed, you don't have lipstick all over your face or your shirt, right? It's actually kind of funny. Olga's one of her best friends calls her one day and goes, hey, can you order me Power Lips for my girlfriend? She's like, okay, sure. Which color? And he's like, all of them. Like, okay, why? He's like, because I'm sick and tired of lipstick all over my clothes, all over my shirts. And so he bought like every single Power Lip for her. So this is an amazing product, right? Yes. So for guys, you think about, well, hey, I don't use lip color. It's okay. You can be on the other side of it. That you don't have lipstick all over you, right? R Squared, and then Dr. Dana, which is actually really cool because this product is so good, and Dr. Dana is so good that we decided just to buy the entire company. Yes. So no one else can have it, which is pretty cool. So we have devices, the Age Lock Me, the LumiSpa, the Galvanic. Why are these products so different? It's because we combine 3 different things, right? Science for sure, right? Everything has to be proven. There has to be a reason why they're there. The experience, they work, right? People use the product and there's a result, right? And that comes down to performance, right? People enjoy the product, they enjoy what's happening, and it creates an emotional response, right? They use the Lumen Spa, they're like, oh my God, it feels so good, right? They love it. And you just have to get the product onto people and they can tell. And how do we know that our products are good? Because other people tell us that, right? It's not just us saying, hey, we have really good products. Third parties, right? For design, for for beauty awards, everybody is recognizing what we're doing, right? Magazines are recognizing what we're doing, whether it's Agelock Media, Lumen Spa. So we are in major media, right? And we're not just some small company. People recognize who we are. And we're also doing a lot of global impact. It's not just about money, but it's also about how do we impact the world. So this is a short little video. I'll skip that video. But so the global impact part is a huge part because for New Skin, the income, the titles, the trips, those are all very good. But really, the goal of New Skin is how can they change the world, right? And you're going to hear about them talking about this constantly because that's always been their focus: is how can they help you? Number one, help you change your lives. Right? So then once you're able to change your lives, you can help other people change theirs, right? And whether through the business, whether through the products, or whether just through the culture, either way, right? And so the way we're doing that right now, especially with the business, is by making the opportunity much more achievable by people, right? Especially younger people, because for a long time, the business was geared for the older generation, right? They had money, they just didn't have time. They had lots of stress. So for the younger generation is kind of this hard thing, but New Skin is an amazing company because they've changed their compensation plan. They've improved it, right? Most companies wouldn't do this because it's a risk, yes. Right? But for New Skin, it's not a risk. It's a necessity because they view our success and they see our success as such an important thing that for them, they're going to do whatever they can to make sure that we have the best opportunity available, yes. Right? Yes. Which is a huge deal. So they made it easier through the sharing program. So we have a new program called Velocity, and part of that is the daily pay, right? So people can now earn income on a daily basis, yes. And get paid. So for people starting off, this is a huge deal, right? Instant success, and there's no sign up fee, so people can start making income immediately. And then as you start building your teams, and you can also earn weekly pay as well, right? So instead of waiting month to month, you can earn daily and weekly. And then obviously, if you start building a bigger organization, larger teams, you're a leader, then you get monthly pay as well. So this is our average monthly commissions. This will change as the new velocity plan kicks in, right? But this is from 2016. So depending on which pin level, right? An executive is somebody that is essentially, it's like a manager of a franchise, right? So when you first start off, everyone starts off as a distributor, which is just like I'll use a Starbucks analogy, like if you're working at Starbucks and you're the one selling coffee, you're a distributor, right? An executive is basically like you're the manager. So in New Skin, if you become executive, on average, you're making about $420 per month, right? Which in the beginning, you're going, that's not a lot of money. But really it is, because, for a part-time business, 400 bucks a month is, maybe that's a car payment, right? Maybe that's part of a mortgage, right? In Colombia, where my girlfriend is from, that's their average monthly income, right? So doing a part-time job, they can double what their average monthly income is. You think that'll change your life? Right? And that's just part-time, that's just starting off. And then if you get maybe to Ruby, you're making $2,300 a month on average, right? So if you're someone in Colombia or even the US, okay, so in the US, the poverty line is about $23,000 a year. So in our part-time business, you hit Ruby, you are making more than someone that's in poverty. That's going to change someone's life. Then if you keep progressing and get Blue Diamond, right, then you're making $500,000. That'll definitely change your life, right? I don't care who you are, that'll change your life, right? And then this will give you the ability to impact other people, right? Because if you got to this point, then you've done something for somebody else. You've helped somebody else achieve a title or income. So you've actually impacted someone else's life in a very positive way, right? So what's the point of this business, right? I keep talking about this, is the ability to change the world, right? We have the ability to do that, but most of the time we don't, because we're so concerned about survival, about paying the bills, putting a roof over our head, feeding ourselves, right? That if you can alleviate or get rid of all of those concerns, what could you do, right? So let's empower people. And what I mean by that is, okay, so Nurse to Children and Force for Good are two programs with New Skin, right? Some of you guys might be familiar with it. Nurse to Children is an amazing initiative. Their goal is to wipe out child hunger globally, right? So I think at this point we've fed over 800 million meals to starving children, right? And the program is very cool. I love the concept of the program. It's not just about giving people food, right? But teaching people how to farm, how to be efficient, then create enough food that they can then sell it and create an economy so they can actually create a life for themselves, right? So you are empowering people to create a life, right? And so this way they're not reliant upon you, right? The danger, or the common way we do it is we just give people stuff. We just give people stuff, and so they rely on you, and that's actually not a good thing, right? Because if you disappear, you go away, they're right back where they started from, and usually it's in a worse situation. But if you can teach them to feed themselves, to create income, then you've given them the ability to elevate themselves, right? And that's the most important thing. And then the New Skin Force for Good Foundation is an incredible organization too. It's a nonprofit that have a bunch of different programs globally, whether it's providing glasses to people for kids that need to be able to see, they can't afford it, or heart transplants in China, right? Or aid someplace in the world because of natural disaster. Force for Good is an amazing foundation, and this is really what the culture of the company is, right? But this I want to talk about is actually a business I co-founded. It's called Eudaimonia. And eudaimonia, it's a Greek word. It means human flourishing, right? Basically, it means, okay, how elevating yourself to be the best person you can be, right? So because of New Skin and the platform that New Skin has given me, right, my mom and I actually started this project with one of my best friends, right? So my mom actually never was able to see the final result, but we actually created a center in Colorado. And it started off as just a gym, American Ninja Warrior gym, that people could come and they could have fun. That was the original idea. But then we started thinking bigger, right? Because that's what my mom always taught me to do is, dream, think bigger, don't just, think small. And so we started thinking, hey, what can we do for the community? How can we help people? And so we created a center where people can come, they can exercise, they can do spiritual things, whatever. They can basically work on themselves, right? We have classes, we have after school programs. We're teaching kids how to code, how to create applications, things like that. We're working with dyslexic schools. They can come out and do things with us. So we're having like we're trying to put together a community garden. We're going to do movie nights for the community as well. 4th of July, they're hosting events. Essentially what we want to do is we want to create a place where the community, everyone in the area can come and spend time and come together and do amazing things. And our goal is we want to bring this to different places in the world, right? Whether it's, third world countries or other places in the US. But we want to help people improve themselves. And so, I want to finish with a couple pictures. And these are two different passports. Okay, so this is a passport of, US passport. Pretty self-explanatory. This one is a little more interesting. So it's a national park passport. And the reason for this is because a couple years ago, well, 2016, right, my mom and I, we started taking these tours. She loves doing tours. And so we went to Yellowstone National Park and had a beautiful time there, had an amazing time. And so we started talking about, hey, she's always wanted to travel, and well, she loved to travel, but she's always wanted to visit more national parks. And so on that tour, they gave us this passport book. And in the passport book, you can stamp from each park you go to. And so we decided that, hey, we have this dream that we wanted to go visit every single national park together, right? So there's 59 of them in the U.S., right? And so we had gone to Yellowstone and we got a stamp. And then the next month, I think that was in July. And then we were scheduled in October to go to Glacier National Park, which is a northern part of the U.S. Well, September 9th of 2016, my mom was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer, right? Doctor said, you have 6 months to live. Okay? By the way, that's her birthday. So imagine that, right? Happy birthday. You have stage 4 cancer, you have 6 months to live. How would you feel? Right? So we were never able to start that journey because immediately after we found out, we went and we started looking for treatment. We started trying to find ways to cure her cancer. Right? But, well, the doctors are right. 6 months later, February of, not this past year, but the year before, 2017, she passed away. Right? And so now my goal, my dream is I have two of these. I have one of my own, but I also have hers. And so now my goal, my dream is to go visit every single national park and get them stamped, right, for both of us. Because she was never able to do that journey, right? So I want to continue that journey for her, right, and together, right? So this was the last picture I have of my mom. And it was an amazing thing because no matter what, she always was very strong. She always had a smile.
Yes.
Right? No matter what. That's just how she was.
Yes.
No matter how hard things were, no matter how bad she felt, she always had a smile. Right? And so, I loved being able to be with her. And really that's what I want people to understand about the museum business. Right? The trips are great. The financial side is great. But the most important thing about the business is time. Okay, I want you to understand that. The most important thing about the business is it gives you time, right? The time that I was able to spend with my mom is priceless, right? No one else could have done that. 6 months, every single day with her, traveling wherever to do treatment, right? We didn't have to worry about the business. We didn't have to worry about anything. I could focus on her, right? Because money comes and goes, time you will never get back.
Yes.
Right? So that's really the point about the business, is that I could be with her, right? We could spend time together. I could be there, whether she needed me or, anything, right? And that's the same thing that I urge all of you to think about is, okay, if you had 6 months to live, what would you do? Would you be able to do things that you want to do, right? Do you have enough time? Because honestly, we don't know how long we have to live, right? Did they tell you that, hey, you're going to live until you're 85 or 90 or 100? You don't know, right? You could be here, you could be gone tomorrow. You could be gone in 6 months, a year, right? So we have to understand that life is limited. The time that we have is limited. So what are you doing with that time? Right? Are you spending it in an office someplace or working or just kind of cruising through life? Or can you actually make an impact? And so because of her, because of the business, and because what I've seen with the business, my goals are different, right? My life goals are very much different. I'm doing a lot of things. I'm on the road. I'm sharing the Nu Skin business, not because I need the money, not because, I like talking in front of people, but because I want to, one, honor my mom, but also to hopefully impact other people, right? That's the most important thing is, can you make an impact in other people's lives? Can you make an impact in the world, right? So together we can change the world. And this is a picture of, my mom, our pig, Cooney, right? And then obviously me with the age like me, right? It's one of my favorite pictures. But really, life is short. Do amazing things. Change people's lives. Make an impact in the world. A positive impact.
Yes.
Okay. Positive one. I gotta clarify that. Right. So have fun. So that's why I asked the question: do you have an amazing life, or is your life fine? Right. You have the ability to change it. Everything in your life, you have the ability to change. So what kind of life do you want to live? Right. If you want to have an amazing life, I urge you to come join our business. At least check it out. Right? Understand it, learn about it. Don't just say, have closed mind. That's not going to get you anywhere. Right? See what we have to offer. And if you see that this is a good mix, connection with you, right? That it's a good partnership, great, let's work. Right? Because this is an amazing opportunity. Social media, especially right now, things are accelerating. What the company is doing in the future, or what they've told us, is incredible.
Yes.
Right? The things that are coming down the pipeline are absolutely amazing. They blow my mind. So I've seen the company over 30 years. I've never been more excited than I am now because of what they're doing. Right? This is a fun time. It's a fun time for all of you, and it's a fun time for anyone that is willing to join us. Okay, so if you have any questions? Any questions? No? All right, so we'll talk to you later. Thank you very much.
Let's give a big applause to thank him for his great sharing today about his vision of Nu Skin, and let's welcome Winnie to. No. Okay, let's take a picture together. Okay. I'm kind of nervous today because it wasn't me. So, okay. Thank you for joining this speech tonight, and hope you can join us to empowering people by the Nu Skin business. Thank you. Have a good night.